Hey you guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be giving you first impressions and a full in-depth review of the Makeup by Mario Surreal Skin Foundation. If you're interested in hearing my review, seeing swatches of a couple different shades, and just walking through the process, seeing the application with me, then be sure to stay tuned. If you are new here, do the YouTube thing, subscribe, like. I post every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump into this review, you guys. Okay, so here we go. We're testing it out. So just to go over some of the claims of the Surreal Skin Foundation, and it says it's to be medium coverage and luminous with like a natural finish. So, I don't know. It sounds like something I would really enjoy. Has a 12-month shelf life. I will insert the price down here because I already forget. It comes in this super sleek packaging. It's glass, but it's like lightweight. We also have a pump, which we love. It's kind of make or break for me now, to be honest. I want a pump. So, really excited about that. It does look beautiful. I can see the flecks of shimmer everyone is talking about. At first I was like, man, people are just being so nitpicky, but it's actually, when you have it, it's quite obvious that there are little glittery, shimmery particles in the formula. So that's, you know, whatever, I guess. We'll see how it looks on the skin. I've watched a couple reviews and it doesn't seem to be an issue, but we'll see. I did pick up the shade 5N, and I haven't even swatched it yet, you guys. We're doing the first impressions together. And I'm not going to lie to you, finding my shade was hard. And looking at this swatch, I think I fucked it up. So, yeah, this is the shade 5N. I found this shade range to be a little bit difficult to select a shade. I feel like there's definitely room for improvement within the range. There's just really big gaps. Like 2N looked like it would have been far too fair for me. And this is 5N. And as you can see, it looks like it's going to be far too dark for me. I don't know. I don't have any like primer on or anything like that. But I feel like this is going to set down, and it's already looking like it's getting darker. It already looks like it's oxidizing. I'll do a little bit on my face over here, but I am going somewhere after this, which I thought would be great for a wear test, but like I'm not going to wear a foundation out that is like clearly too dark for me. Yeah, that looks so warm. Because I was really between shade 5N, 4 Cool, and 2 Neutral. And I decided 5N, but it definitely, if that looks really yellow to me. Really yellow. That is not... I'm not getting a neutral vibe out of this. Because I'm going somewhere today, I'm not going to put this on my face. The shade's not right. So, and it doesn't even, I don't know. The bottle looks like it would be okay, but it definitely pulls a little warm. So, I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can exchange it. Or no, I think I would have to return it and then buy a new one. I don't live by a Sephora, so, but yeah, this unfortunately, not a good shade for me. So, pause. I'll be back, eventually trying a different shade. Okay, you guys, I'm back for the second attempt. It took a while because, I don't know, Sephora is just so slow to ship to my house. And before, I don't remember if I addressed this in the beginning, but before anyone's like, well, you should have swatched it in store or you should have got a sample, I don't live close to a Sephora. The closest standalone store to me is over 2 hours away. I do have a Sephora in Kohl's, which is about an hour from me. And I did look for it there and they did not have it. So I attempted to go in store and swatch to find my shade, but unfortunately that's just not an option that is available to everyone. So if this shade doesn't work for me, I'm not trying any more shades. Because I was kind of curious about 4C, but I'm just not going to do it. It's like wasteful, so I'm not going to do it. I don't have any primer or anything on my face, just regular skincare, sunscreen, stuff like that. This is the shade 2N. I'm going to swatch it for you guys. I haven't swatched it yet, so I wanted to do first impressions with you all. Dot a little bit on the hand. That is what shade 2 appears to look like in swatch. So quite a bit lighter than shade 5N. So really that, I'll insert a little photo if I can get it over here. I should have took a picture, but just to show you like the difference in the shade jump, pretty substantial in my opinion. I definitely think he could elaborate a little bit more on the shade range. I know I'm not the only person who has struggled with this. Taking a clean brush, I'm going to take the It Cosmetics one, and I just took that off my hand. I didn't want to waste it. And I'm going to start applying this. We'll see how the shade looks. Hopefully maybe it'll like oxidize a little bit and blend in and look just fine. We will see. But I'm not going anywhere today, so I feel comfortable putting this all over, because even if it's too light, I don't have to go in public. So okay, I feel like it looks pretty good. Obviously it doesn't match my face, but my face has a lot of redness, but I think it's matching my neck pretty well. If this doesn't work with a brush, I will try it with a sponge, but since I don't normally use a sponge, I wanted to try it with a brush first and see what kind of coverage, what kind of texture, and all that we get. Because if I have to wet a sponge every day to use it, I don't know if I want it. I mean, maybe not. I feel like a lot of people love sponges, but I'm just lazy like that, I guess. It's definitely, it's interesting because it looks, when you're seeing it on camera, it looks glowy, which I can see the shift in like the radiance, but it looks kind of dry at the same time. Like in person, like around my mouth, it looks like it's clinging a little bit. I don't know. Let me get it all on first and then we'll talk about it. So shade wise, like I mentioned, this is 2N. And I feel like it looks pretty good. I think it, maybe I'm just being a little nitpicky, but I feel like it washes me out a little bit. I don't know if it's, I think maybe it might be a little too light. Even though it looks like, you know, it matches my neck and stuff fairly well. I just kind of feel like, because my face normally has a little bit of that natural redness and whatnot coming through, I feel like it kind of washes me out a little bit. I think the finish is pretty nice. You do get a nice amount of glow. The coverage, I would say, is definitely medium. I will be interested to see how this wears, especially because it looks a little textured on my chin and around my mouth. I don't know. I'm gonna finish the rest of my face so we can see what it looks like with a full beat, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the finished look. It's had a little bit of a time to set down. I really wanted you guys to see what it would look like once we got a full face applied. I still feel like it might be a little bit too light, but it's pretty close. I want to see what it looks like in natural lighting. I think that'll help me to decide. I do feel like this skin looks a little bit textured, in my opinion. This did apply really easily though. I'm really just curious to see how it wears, because it's already just looking a little gross right here and right here. I'll flip the camera around and see if you guys, you know, can't better see what I'm seeing. But it's mostly my chin and my lip area that's looking ucky. My nose is starting to look a little ucky already. But I will test this out for about a week. I did just want to go over my first impressions, application, all of that with you guys. I'm going to test it out, and then I will return for my final thoughts and review. I'm going to try this with a couple different primers, potentially powder if I feel like I might need powder. And I will try to take some clips to insert so you can also see what I'm seeing. But yeah, so I'm going to continue to test this, and I'll be back soon with a full review. Okay, friends, so I am back for my final thoughts and full review of the Surreal Skin foundation. I do have a lot of thoughts, so I'd grab yourself a beverage and sit back and relax because so I have been trying this product for about a week now, and I really like to do that because I think it's valuable to not only test this product during that time, but to also rotate through and use other products that you know work for your skin and you know you enjoy. I like to do that with all my reviews because then it really gives you a comparison when you feel like, am I being too nitpicky? Am I being too this? Am I being too that? And then you grab that product that you love and works so well for you, and you're like, no, I'm not being nitpicky. This just ain't good because this other thing is so good. And so I like to have that as not only a way to kind of like keep myself in check, but it also really helps me gather my thoughts for reviews like this. So let's go ahead and just jump in. I tried, as you saw, 2 different foundations. I tried the shade 5N and then I tried the shade 2N. I wish I would have took more video footage of the shade 5N before I returned it, because in the shade 5N, when you you didn't even really have to be that close to it. You could just look like this, and you could very easily see the glittery mica particles within the product. I am going to borrow a photograph from my friend Jude. I will link her Instagram handle down below if you want to check her out. She does great in-depth reviews as well. And her page is just like so aesthetically pleasing. But anyways, she had taken a photo. She has a Sephora store near her. And she, you know, we talked about it, and I was like, you know, we were like, it's only really noticeable once you start getting into the deeper shades. So I would say like 5N and up. And yeah, you wouldn't think 5N would be deep, but it was deep. It's a pretty big jump from 2N to 5N. So as you can see in the darker shades, the mica particles are very, very visible. Now in my 2N shade, you know, I've been looking and looking, and you gotta look a lot harder to see it because it's so light. And I was very optimistic about that in the beginning. I was like, you know, that doesn't mean we're gonna have any issues on the face, or it's gonna be this and that on the face, like no big deal. So as I have been wearing this, it is very interesting. It seems to match my neck well, but it also kind of somehow gives off a white cast that kind of washes me out. It looks better as it wears through the day. This is like 9-hour wear, but when you initially put it on, it matches the neck, but the face is extremely washed out. It's quite literally so weird. And the only thing I can think of is that the mica particles are causing like a weird reflection that's giving off a white cast. I can't explain it because it quite literally makes no sense. I don't understand it. You know, how do we match my neck, but my face looks so washed out and pale? I feel like the reflections give that off, because when you first apply this, it appears much more luminous on the skin. As you could see in the clips before this, when I had it on my skin at first, very luminous. Even within the first hour-ish, very luminous. And you could see like how my face appeared a lot lighter than the rest, but then like it matched. It was so weird. I don't know how it did that. It was so fucking weird. So yeah, I think that the shade range is odd. I think that there are a lot of jumps in the shade range. Like there's a lot of gaps that need to be filled, just because the difference between this one and 5N is pretty stark. And there's just like no room for anybody in between, really. The next thing I wanted to talk about is in the description on Sephora, this claims to be a natural finish. And at first I was like, there's no way. This is so luminous when I'm applying it. There's no way that we're going to get a natural finish from this. But as I wear it more, I believe it to be true, because we get that luminosity for about the first hour to 2 hour. And then I feel like it completely fades, and we have more, like I have, you know, spectral shine over here, but we have more of like a natural finish. It's not nearly as glowy. I definitely feel like the luminosity fades, which is interesting and leads me to my next point. I'm trying to figure out how a foundation can not only be luminous, but extremely drying. When I wore this the first time with no primer, after about 2 hours, I thought my skin was gonna suffocate. My face was so uncomfortable, you guys, because the foundation was so drying on me. And if you don't know, I have combination skin. So it's not like I have super dry skin, super oily skin. Usually I get oily, you know, in the T-zone, but everything else is more on the like, what do they call that? The neutral, not the neutral, not the neutral, not the normal. I was like, something with an N. The rest of my skin is like pretty normal. So to have to be feeling that dry after 2 hours, I was like, what the fuck? I kept it on for, I believe, 4 hours, and then I washed it off because I'm like, this is just uncomfortable. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna wear it how I normally wear all my foundations. And I went in with like one of my like glowiest primers that, you know, in my experience has proven to not only be glowy, but to also provide that hydration, which I do a full fucking skincare routine every morning. So my skin is always prepped, ready. Like we do the whole cleanser, toner, serum, moisturizer every morning. So it's not like I'm just raw dogging it, you know. I prime and prep my skin. So, and then I went in with this, which I typically use a, you know, luminizing primer. So I went in with this combination, and I will say it did hold up better. In terms of like dryness, my skin was not feeling as dry throughout the day as it had the previous time. So this is how I've been wearing it now. And honestly, like, I just feel like it's a little finicky. I don't think that whatever the combination of this is plays well with my skin. Like I said, we get so much luminosity in the beginning that it is like quite reflective, and I think causing like a white cast. And then also it is so drying that my face is like uncomfortable, and I hate that. I also have experienced with this particular product quite a bit of texture on like the chin and around the mouth, like very textury, and in the nose area. Now, normally I have texture. There's going to be a little bit of texture, but with this, I really feel like it emphasizes it, and it like doesn't really sink into the skin that well. Like I find, you know, when you have those foundations that just don't melt in, and they kind of, like you can see them on the skin, up off the skin. I feel like this was doing a bit of that. I do feel like you don't get I know a lot of people are like, oh, you get a lot of movement from it throughout the day. I didn't feel like I experienced a ton of movement from this, but I've also like really trained myself not to touch my fucking face. So unless I had like, you know, a higher shirt on or something like that, it could have been a problem. But in general, like I don't set my face. I don't like to set my face. And I didn't like feel like I had to with this. And to be honest, with as drying as this was on my skin, I feel like if I would have set my face, I would have been like, like it just would have been way too dry. So back to why I like to rotate in products that I really love while I'm reviewing other products is that, you know, I used this yesterday before I'm filming this. And I was like, oh my God, my skin looks so fucking good. Like, good skin day, good skin day. And then I was like, oh, I really loved how this looked. And like, I really didn't love how this looked. And so at the end of the day for me, I'm not going to reach for this. And I'm not saying it's bad. I'm sure there is a market. I'm sure there's a niche for this. But, you know, for me, being an over $40 foundation, it's not the best on the market, hands down. At least not for my skin type and my skin tone and my skin texture. Like, it's not that girl for me. I have so many others that I know I'm going to reach for over this because my skin doesn't look its best with this, and it does not feel its best with this. I almost wonder, because I know some of my oilier gal friends were kind of curious about this, but they were worried it would be like, you know, sliding off their face and breaking up and whatnot because of the luminizing factor. But I've found it to be so dry that if you do have oilier skin, this actually might work pretty well for you because it won't feel as drying if your oils are like, you know, soaking that up. but I can't really speak to, you know, if it's going to break up or whatnot, because in my oilier areas, I did experience like it breaking up and whatnot. And I even tried using my like Tarte pore filling primer, which is like my favorite holy grail. And I put it on the areas that I would get a little dry and had pores. And then I did also try it with a little bit of powder, just to help control the oil. And I do feel like the oil was controlled, but I still felt like the foundation just wasn't looking good. And it's not like it, you know, stopped looking good after 8+ hours. It kind of looked bad right off the bat, right after application. Like I showed you guys as close as I was like, I don't really think it looks good. And I had just put it on my face. And that's like usually when foundation looks its best. I don't know. I just think that I wanted it to work. I wanted it to love it. Like I was ready for this to be that new bitch, but I don't think that it is. I think that this formula is really weird, to be honest with you guys. I'm just, you know, I'm not into it. It had a lot of qualities, like it doesn't have any fragrance or anything. Packaging is really beautiful. It had qualities that I thought like would appeal to me and my skin type, but it really just didn't. So overall, like I'm not going to recommend this. I know some other people are having a really great experience with it and I'm fucking jealous. But yeah, this just was not it for me. So maybe I would think about that, you know, a little bit if we're similar in skin tone, skin type, and skin texture. This might not be for you. But again, those are my thoughts, my experiences. Do with them what you will. Regardless, I hope some of the knowledge of what happened with this foundation helps you like make a decision on whether it's going to be right for you or not. Unfortunately, it wasn't right for me. But yeah, that is all I have for you today. If you guys stayed until the end of the video, wow, you an OG. Because this was kind of a long one, but I had a lot of thoughts. I wanted to make sure I was really thorough and portrayed them because I know there's a lot of interest around this product. So yeah, if you did enjoy this video, please do, you know, give it a thumbs up, share it if you want, make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And yeah, as always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you all in the next one. Bye.